नमस्कार, मैं आपका आलोक रंजन. We are in a very special session today, something which was always behind the curtain. I have decided to unravel some of the mysteries of my special classes. Maybe partly, I cannot reveal myself entirely on free classes, because we need to keep something special, something in our armory, so that we could fire the salvo at the right moment in the class. I am here today with a very special class on answer writing. Answer writing has been so puzzling, and different people, different teachers, they profess differently. So it's a matter of great chaos, it's a matter of huge confusion that what is a world-class answer. Now there is nothing like world-class answer. It's all about your performance, your recalling back of facts, and your output in those given and testing 3 hours. For every question, there will be an allotted 10 to 15 minutes, and within 10 to 15 minutes, you have to write something which could impress the examiner, something which goes deep within the examiner, so that he could have those positive hormones, those positive impression of yourself, and he could deliver you very good marks. He is also affected by certain degree of emotions. So in answer writing, the first thing he observes is your handwriting. And if your handwriting is legible, if your handwriting is decorative, if your diagrams are beautiful, and if your words are well organized on that given space, he will be impressed at the first sight. And that impression creates the positive mindset of the examiner, and then he gives you the better marks. So always remember that your handwriting plays a good role in getting higher marks. Since the examiner is provided with certain model answers, and he has gone through those questions several times, he has also gone through the model answers multiple times, so he remembers particular set of facts which he wants to see in your writing. And when you reflect, when you write more or less the similar things on similar lines as per the model answer, you are likely to get better marks and higher marks. Now these model answers are prepared on the basis of the great works by great authors which are found in the great libraries of your country. So always you need to have those reference books which have been taught or which are being taught and referred to in the universities or in the great colleges of your country. So first thing I talked about was your handwriting, which creates the first impression. Second thing I talked about, incorporation of those facts and diagrams and the kind of writing and the vocabulary which are found in the great works of great authors. So these two essentials, before I begin with the further discussion, you have to keep in your mind that these are the prerequisites, these are the essential part of your answer writing, and these two things you have to always keep in your mind before you write, before you perform in a given mains examination. The third thing, and probably the most important thing, is that when you enter the examination hall, you have to keep yourself really composed. You have to be a very peaceful person, and the chaos and the pollution of your mind has to be released before you enter the hall and before you occupy the seat. So when you sit, you have to be the coolest person of the world. And when your mind is in tranquility, or when your mind is pacified, then you can recall much better than others. These are some of the psychological aspects before you write your mains. When you get the question paper in your hand, don't lose the cool. Don't be a person in haste. Don't read the question paper in a jiffy. Don't just go through as a formal, as a formal work. You have to read the question at least 2-3 times. When you read the first time, you will have a feeling that I know it and maybe I don't know it. This is how you experience. But when you start reading the whole question paper, then you begin to decide that all these questions I can do and these questions probably I cannot do. So first you have to make a judgment of which questions you will be attempting and which questions are far from your reach. You have to judge questions on the basis of their merit and on the basis of your knowledge. What is the meaning of merit of a question? Merit means some questions are abstract in nature. Some questions will be more subjective in nature. Some questions will demand a better, vocabulary and a better, eloquency, better fluency, and probably more writing. So I suggest that such questions should be placed second, and priority should be to write on those questions where you can really structure the facts, where you can organize the facts and the interpretations and the analysis in a very interesting paragraphed way, and which can incorporate some diagrams or flowchart or some data or some maps. So first you have to think of the merit of the question and then decide and prioritize that which all questions you are going to attempt. Now, next step always is to read the question and interpret it. Don't just read, try to interpret the question and try to find out the various elements of the question, various components of the question. The element of questions means what is the theme, what is the demand, what is the tale, what are the contemporary issues related with it. So you can only write when you understand that what is the substantive part of the question, or what is the theme of the question, and what is the actual demand of the question. Sometimes we just read certain words and we start writing. Like I can give you one example from geography itself, that if there is a question on, say, plate tectonics, and the question writes, discuss the process of mountain building with a special reference to plate tectonic theory. Now, this question is not plate tectonic theory. This question is essentially the process of mountain building. And this question is not mountain building again, but this question is demanding the processes and mechanisms which are involved in the mountain building or the orogenetic processes. Similarly, we can have more such examples. Like I can give you one more example from Green Revolution. Say if the question is, what are enumerate the ecological problems associated with Green Revolution with a special reference to the soil degradation in northwestern plains of India. Now this question has many keywords. It has several keywords. Northwestern India is a keyword. Then soil degradation is a keyword. Green Revolution is a keyword. Then also the impact or ecological impact is the keyword, and the demand as well. So today we are going to read a number of questions, and I'm going to give you how to interpret those questions, and you have to learn today that how to read a question, interpret a question, how to take out the substantive part of the question, how to meet the demand of the question, and how to produce a world-class answer on it. This is an art. There is an absolute art, and it needs training. All those people who have qualified, they may not, they may not be aware of such interpretation of a question, but yet whatever they have done and wherever they have scored, knowingly or unknowingly, they have done more or less the same thing. They have gone through the question properly, they have understood the demand, they have met the demand, they have given some kind of graphical presentation, and especially in geography, it's geography. So until you present your geographical knowledge with the help of graphics, it doesn't become geography. So I'm having a session purposefully for my students and for all those who love me, who like me. And the idea is to impart some kind of knowledge about answer writing today. And I hope you will enjoy my video, and I hope you will subscribe me for more such sessions. I am highly encouraged by the kind of response I am getting on internet, on video classes. So I'm so thankful to my student community. हिंदी मीडियम पीपल नीड नॉट वरी. हिंदी माध्यम के छात्र बिल्कुल परेशान न हो. दे मस्ट लिसन टू मी in this particular session also, and I'll be coming out with more videos on Hindi in next coming few days. So I totally segregate, I totally separate my English medium and Hindi medium batches, because I don't want to create a hybrid of language, because finally, which most of the people are doing now, because if you are an English medium student, you are supposed to write your mains examination purely in English. You are not supposed to be bilingual there. Similarly, if you are a Hindi medium student, you have to write completely in Devanagari and completely by using some Sanskritized word and a particular vocabulary from Hindi itself. This session shall be defining in your career, because maybe my efforts and my words will help you in interpreting the questions in the right way, and then you can really order your answer, you can really structure your answer, and then maybe you will be getting much more marks than what you get today. So our answer writing session begins with the first discussion, that is how to interpret a question. किसी भी प्रश्न का विश्लेषण कैसे करें, किसी भी प्रश्न का अर्थ कैसे समझें. How to interpret a question. As I told you, जैसा मैंने आपको बताया कि आप एक क्वेश्चन पेपर आएगा, दे विल बी द इन्विजिलेटर विल बी गिविंग ए क्वेश्चन पेपर, एंड देन you have to read the questions first and interpret it. The real challenge is to interpret a question. How to interpret a question? This session is all about interpretation of a question, and interpretation is the second stage, but before that you have to read the question. And when you read the question, you have to divide the question into cross sections or transverse analysis. You have to do transverse analysis of the question. That means you have to find out the components of the question. You have to find out the elements of the question. Now, what is the meaning of transverse analysis or cross-sectional analysis is here. So just look at this. Any question will have 4 parts. These 4 parts are: A, the interrogative term; B, the central theme; C, the demand or the substantive part; and D, the tag. So any question is going to have 4 components. Some of the questions or the short questions may have 3 components, A, B or C. They can have 3 components. Tag may be missing sometime, but interrogative term is a very special component of any question, because interrogative term, as it changes the whole meaning of the question or the whole interpretation of the question. It also changes the demand of the question. I can give you one example. When we say discuss, it simply means writing on both the positive and negative aspects. Discussion is a broad-based term. I mean, just feel it, that when we discuss, 2 people, 5 people are sitting together and discussing. So they are going to bring out all the numerous facts, and they are going to, put their ideas forward, and the discussion ends up in a number of ideas. So discussions are always multidisciplinary, discussions are always broad-based, discussions are always having, a very broad spectrum of knowledge and interpretation. So when the term comes, interrogative term comes as discuss, then always remember that you have to go really wide, you have to go really, in details, and you have to elaborate things, and you have to write both negative and positive things. Now, look, I remove that term discuss and I use the term enumerate. Now the question becomes enumerate the impact of Green Revolution. Now enumerate means counting the numbers or accounting for. So in this particular question, there shall not be any paragraph writing. Rather, there shall be enumeration, point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you have to write in points, not in paragraphs. This is the first change which will be made by the, replacing the discuss term with enumerate. So enumeration is listing of the fact, counting of the fact, giving an account of. Now, if I change the interrogative term again, analyze or critically analyze. So analyze the impact of Green Revolution or critically analyze the impact of Green Revolution. You really think that the first question, discuss the impact of Green Revolution, and the last one, critically analyze the impact of Green Revolution, are similar things or similar facts to be written? No, not at all. In critical analysis, we have to bring out all the negative facts and we have to substantiate the writing with certain data, certain, example or case studies. Now, if the same question is having illustrate or elucidate the impact of Green Revolution. Now, illustrate means cite examples. So, in this particular question, when the interrogative term is illustrate, you have to write the case studies. So obviously the writing method and the presentation of fact and the structuring of the question all will change as the interrogative term is changing. So I think I should come out with more videos on this interrogative term itself, because there is a list of 36 interrogative terms. So I'm promising you that I will come out with a video which will have those 36 interrogative terms and what is their grave meaning, how they change the demand, in case of analysis, how to be written, in case of critical analysis, how differently can be answered. So it needs separate discussion. Now, going to the central theme and the demand or the substantive part. What is the central theme? Central theme is the main topic. Say, in this question, discuss the impact of Green Revolution in northwestern India. In this question, discuss the impact of Green Revolution in northwestern India. Now, what is the central theme? Central theme is Green Revolution. I am taking another example. Discuss the stages of mountain building with a special reference to plate tectonic theory. What is the central theme? Mountain building. In a third example, discuss the, or maybe analyze the, provide with the reasoned account of ocean currents and discuss their impact on the coastal climates. So in this last question, in the third question on ocean current, interrogative term is discuss. Central theme is ocean current. Now what is the demand? Demand is the reasoned account. Now if you go to the first question on Green Revolution, what is the demand? Demand is the impact, ecological impact, that's the demand. And if you come to the second question on plate tectonic and mountain building. So demand is what? The processes and mechanism of mountain building or the stages of mountain building. So you have to differentiate between the central theme and demand. Central theme is always the main topic, and central theme is one where we have to create, on the basis of which we have to create the introduction. But the answer writing always will be with the help of the interrogative term and the demand of the question. Now, I'm taking you to a particular question which is meant for discussion here today. Discuss the ecological impact of Green Revolution in India with a special reference to the Trans-Gangetic Plain. Now here, discuss is the interrogative term. This is your interrogative term. This is your interrogative term. प्रश्न सूचक, प्रश्नवाचक शब्द यही है. आंसर राइटिंग में इसका बहुत बड़ा रोल है. नाउ कम हियर. ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन. ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन इज द सेंट्रल थीम. This is your central theme. ये central theme हो गया, main topic हो गया. Now, ecological impact is the demand. This is the demand. Now, with a special reference to Trans-Gangetic Plain, so this is your tag. Tag is the indicator in which direction you have to write. So when there is a tag, you have to keep tag all the time in your mind, that I have to write this particular theme or I have to meet this particular demand with a special reference to Trans-Gangetic Plain. So if you write ecological impact of Green Revolution in general, and you have started talking about its impact on peninsula or the whole subcontinent, that's not done. What is the demand here? Demand is ecological impact. You are writing on Green Revolution, but you always have to keep in your mind the tag which is Trans-Gangetic Plain. So any soil degradation or any water pollution or any pollution in the agro sector or any biomagnification or whatever you write, they all has to be in the context of, or groundwater pollution, they all has to be in the context of Trans-Gangetic Plain. That is your Punjab Haryana plain, which was the heartland of Green Revolution. Now look at this question again and look at very peacefully. शांत से इसको देखो, मैं समझा रहा हूँ. क्वेश्चन तुम्हारे सामने आएगा, और when you read this question, you have to first look into the central theme. सबसे पहले central theme को पकड़ो. Central theme is Green Revolution. Now आपको लिखना है, answer writing करना है, तो you have to begin with what is Green Revolution. So you must begin with Green Revolution and give one line, a very powerful line, a very interesting line maybe, or very attractive line on Green Revolution. Something like Green Revolution refers to the spectacular rise in food grain production in the third world countries triggered by the modern inputs and technology. So something like that. I just created randomly. It could be much better than this. Now that is where you have to begin. So you begin your answer with central theme. Then you have to second paragraph mein you have to write the demand. You have to write on the demand, but this demand always will be with reference to the tag. Ecological impact of Green Revolution in Trans-Gangetic Plain. That is the demand. So always have here ecological impact. A, maybe soil pollution. So on soil pollution and maybe groundwater pollution, or maybe development of marshlands, or acidity of the soil, or alkalinity of the soil, or the pH value changes, or whatever you are writing. You have to write with substantive facts. Don't just create gossips there. Don't just write that soil erosion has taken place and it has taken very, destructive form. So don't just write that. Write that how much area has come under soil erosion. Write that, factually substantiate, and write that how much pH value has risen in particular districts. So when you substantiate, you get more marks. Don't try to play with words or don't try to cheat your examiner. Because normal things, general things, anybody can go and write. So you write general things and then you feel that I should be awarded more marks. It never happens. So you have to write substantially. Substantially meaning you have to write with certain case studies, certain examples, certain facts, and certain and a particular vocabulary you have to follow, which is followed by the science or the magazine or the newspapers or maybe the great works. So you have a central theme, Green Revolution. You have to start your introduction here. Then you have to write in second paragraph the demand. Now demand has to be interpreted with reference to the tag, but this demand and discuss, this demand and interrogative term, that produce the body of the answer. And that is most important. Even if you are missing on introduction, you cannot afford to miss on the body part. So body, what you write in your answer is called the body. So this body is the function of, it is simply the function of demand and the interrogative term and the interrogative term. That is what makes a body. I can give you one more example. Ecological impact, discuss the ecological impact. Now in discuss the ecological impact, if I replace discuss with critically examine the ecological impact, the answer writing will vary. The nature of facts will vary. The structure will begin to vary. Feel it for a while. Look, critically examine the ecological impact. As I told you, the discussion is very general in nature. And here you have to write all the negative and the positive sides. So ecological impact there are certain positive sides also. There are certain negative sides also. Yeah, there are positive sides. It's a matter of debate, but some of the research works are showing that there have been, some positive development in the agroecology. Crop monoculture has done the damage, but after crop monoculture era, now the present Punjab has shifted to market gardening and commercialization of agriculture. So it's not always negative. Even when we talk about ecology, we are talking about environmental ecology, but at the same time, social ecology. At the same time, your agroecology. So maybe the impact is negative in agroecology, maybe the impact is negative in environmental ecology, but in social ecology, maybe it was beneficial. So we have to interpret ecology term in a much broader way. Learn this. I will be coming with more such discussions in every topic in geography during my classes. Okay. Now, if I use the term critically examine. Now, critically means what? Critically means putting all the negative consequences. When you become critical, you try to bring out, you try to highlight the negative aspects of a particular theme. So, you have to bring out in critically examine, and examine is what? Examine is in-depth analysis. You have to do in-depth analysis like a doctor do. So when a doctor does analysis, he needs some set of facts. So a doctor is examining you. I'm taking simple example. Doctor is examining you. Now what doctor will do? He will read your card and your blood urea and your whatever creatine and your blah 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 glucose level or hemoglobin. So when he comes across facts, then it's analysis. And then when he highlights, oh, these are dangerous, these are reaching dangerous level, that is critical. So critically examining the the question also will mean that which all ecological impacts have done the real damage to the northwestern plains or the transgangetic plains. So remember it that if I replace the word discuss with critically examine, the answer writing will entirely change, and you need to write different set of facts, and you need to write in a totally different way. So that is where the real magic lies, interpreting a question. I can take more such examples from different questions which have appeared in the civil services. I am having one booklet with me. So there is a booklet. It has all the questions compiled today. This is especially made for the students so that they can have a feel of the the questions, and they always come in the class with these questions. I remember my offline class days. So I'm taking no magic. I have taken out certain pages, and this is India. Now I'm reading 2019 question. Discuss the rainfall pattern and correlate it with a spatial distribution of natural vegetation in India. क्या क्वेश्चन आया है, कितना टेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन आया हुआ है. अब all those people, all those students who prepare geography in isolation and they never try to correlate two themes or two topics, and they never try to find out the genetic connection between the different topics of geography, they will fail to write, because no book is going to give you this answer in toto. Same answer, same question can never be found in any book, because UPSC is a master of testing you, and UPSC is a supreme organization which want the genius people with them, which want the smarter people with them. So they create such question. I'm not talking about the PCS questions. PCS questions are very simple and very straight. You can write from books, but UPSC questions can never be solved with books. It can only be solved when you have deeper understanding of your subject, and when you can correlate, when you have idea of multiple things and the power to correlate and and interlink things, and then you can reproduce them in a very smart way. So here is the question again. Discuss the rainfall pattern. I'm writing for you because I feel you should interpret and practice with me. So the question is discuss, again the interrogative term is discuss the rainfall pattern, the rainfall pattern and correlate it. These days these questions are so long, even reading takes time, and these questions have so many elements in it. This question have many elements, this question have many components. So a student actually become very confused how to begin, from where to start, what all should be written, whether I should write on rainfall pattern or how to correlate it with vegetation, with spatial distribution. Spatial distribution of natural vegetation. Natural vegetation. This was 2019 question. Indian geography, physical setting. Vegetation in India. How many components a question will have? As I told you, a question can have 4 components. Now we have to find out what is the interrogative term first. So interrogative term is discuss, meaning you have to write this question in general, and you don't have to write very specifically with very intrinsic facts, and there shall not be any grave factual basis of this answer. So discussion means you have to make elaborate interpretations, and you have to write with a general assessment or general evaluation of the things. So discuss the rainfall pattern and correlate it with, well, what is the central theme? The central theme is the rainfall pattern. So rainfall pattern is the central theme, and you have to correlate it, or the rainfall pattern has to be correlated with the spatial distribution of natural vegetation. So this spatial distribution is the tag. So when you discuss the rainfall, you have to keep always in your mind that how rainfall or the spatial distribution or the aerial distribution of rainfall has to be correlated with the vegetation of that particular area. Now, the question is very simple. You have to produce one rainfall map of India. You have to draw 100 centimeter ISO height, which separates the wet area with the dry areas of India. And then you have to draw all those 60 cm, 20 cm centimeter ISO heights. Now, vegetation will be evergreen if the rainfall is more than 250. It will be semi-evergreen if the rainfall is more than 200 centimeters. It will be wet deciduous or moist deciduous when the rainfall is more than 100 or sometime 150. So, similarly, savanna vegetation can be found in 40 to 60, hot steppe will be 20 to 40, and the xerophytes will be less than 20, and one I was missing, 60 to 100, it will be dry deciduous. So the ISO height or the rainfall map of India determines the vegetation zone also, and there is a strong correlation between the rainfall pattern and the vegetation of India. Now this was to be written. So how it should be presented, how we should go about writing this so-called world-class answer. So here we have to talk about, first we have to talk about, introductions must begin with the central theme, and central theme is the rainfall pattern. Now who is the determinant of rainfall pattern? The monsoon. So the first line of the introduction must go for monsoon, and you must write that monsoon rainfall India is marked by a spatial and temporal variability of rainfall. And then you can begin with the rainfall pattern, and you can draw that map and you can show those ISO heights, and then you have to move on vegetation zone. So in the vegetation zone, then you have to draw another map. This question demands another map, and again draw those ISO heights, and then show the vegetation zone as we discussed previously, that 100 plus will always have moist deciduous, 100 to 80 will be dry deciduous, something like that. 20 or less than it will be xerophyte, and then you have the mountain vegetation, etc. But here in this question, mountain vegetation only has to be indicated and not to be discussed, because mountain vegetation is controlled by the factor called altitude. And the question is demanding not altitude. The question has no demand for writing on the vegetation zone of India. The question is demanding the correlationship between the rainfall pattern and the vegetation distribution. So here the question needs to be explained on the basis of ISO heights and the vegetation zone corresponding to it. So anyone writing beginning with the monsoon regime and talking about its spatial and temporal variability, then shifting to the rainfall of map of India, and then describing it region wise, and then moving to another map that is showing the natural vegetation, and maybe in a box writing that how 100 plus rain is related with the moist deciduous forest, or 250 centimeter rainfall dash will have evergreen forest. So put it in a box, put it in a chart, put two maps, and then write on the rainfall pattern and write on the nature of vegetation, that makes your answer very complete, and then conclude that how human interference has modified this vegetation distribution, and how the monsoon regime has been 80% monsoon forest has been replaced by agricultural fields, and how climate change also has impacted the vegetation zone of especially the Meghalaya plateau and especially the Chotanagpur plateau, and how the forest fire has impacted the eastern slope of Western Ghats. So when you conclude with this contemporary or current information, examiner is bound to give you very good marks. That's it for the day. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you understand these videos are prepared not for the purpose of classes, but only to provide a glimpse of my classes and glimpse of my efforts which I make in the classes. And I promise you that more such videos will be coming. Please subscribe me. Thank you for the day. Love you all.